The same man made both of these films, Tangled, Zootopia. 6 years apart, different worlds, different species, different stories entirely. Watching both films, something sits in the back of your mind that you can't quite name, like you've met these two people before. The charmer with the smirk who has an answer for everything, and the one who looks straight through the smirk like it isn't even there. That feeling wasn't your imagination. The same director built them both, Byron Howard, and his own biography says it plainly. The protagonists are usually an optimist and their cynical friend, ending with the cynic becoming more open. Same wound, different costume. It's not really a story about charm or optimism or unlikely friendships. It's about what happens when someone refuses to accept the version of you that you spent years constructing, and what that does to the person wearing it. Flynn Rider is not a charmer. He's an orphan who found a storybook hero named Flynnigan Rider, rich, dashing, adventurous, the kind of man nobody abandons, and decided to become him instead. Eugene Fitzherbert had nothing, no reason for anyone to stay, so he built one, took the name, took the life, kept the real person somewhere nobody would think to look. Nick Wilde is not smooth. He's a child who walked into a scout initiation proud and open and ready to belong, and got muzzled. Who made a quiet decision at 8 or 9 years old, so he stopped trying, became the thing they expected, kept the real person somewhere nobody would think to look. Same hiding place, different reason for needing it. 2 different wounds, 2 different films, same construction project. Build something the world can deal with. Keep the real thing somewhere it can't be touched. Flynn tries the smolder on Rapunzel immediately, because with every other person, the smolder is a door that opens. With Rapunzel, it doesn't register. She was raised in a tower. Nobody taught her to be dazzled by charm. She just looks at him like a person. If the smolder doesn't work, he has nothing left, except Eugene. And Eugene is the one thing he has spent years making sure nobody ever has to meet. Nick runs the hustle the moment Judy appears, the popsicle con. Quick, clean, untouchable. Nobody gets close enough to see how it works. Judy watches the whole thing, then follows him and records it on her carrot pen. Nick goes smooth, charming, calls her carrots, calls her fluff, keeps her at exactly the right distance. Entertained enough to stay, never close enough to matter. She keeps asking about the case. He tries again. She keeps asking about the case. That's panic of someone whose entire method of managing people has just failed for the first time in years. He doesn't know what to do when the performance doesn't land, because the performance is all he has. Same moment, same panic, different film. There's a scene in Tangled that gets quoted as romantic, and almost nobody identifies as the most precise moment in the film. Rapunzel and Eugene by a campfire. She's healed his hand. He's rattled, and she just waits. Doesn't perform patience to get something from him. Sits there like she has nowhere else to be.
I'll spare you the sob story of poor orphan Eugene Fitzherbert. It's a little bit of a downer.
He tries to make it a joke. She doesn't laugh, doesn't react with pity, just receives it like information about a person she's already decided matters. He keeps going. He tells her about the orphanage, about the book, about Flynnigan Rider, the life he read about every night to children who had nothing, the life he eventually stole for himself because there was no other way to have it.
Hey, for the record, I like Eugene Fitzherbert much better than Flynn Rider.
Well, then you'd be the first. But thank you.
He's not being modest. Nobody has ever preferred the real version. Nobody has stayed long enough to have a preference. And she's telling him she'd choose it. Not despite knowing where it came from, but because of it. He doesn't know what to do with that. So he says thank you. And the word comes out quieter than anything Flynn Rider would ever say. The equivalent scene in Zootopia happens under a bridge. Judy has found him after the press conference destroyed everything between them. She tries to apologize. He plays her own words back on the carrot pen.
am just a dumb bunny.
Don't worry, Carrots. I'll let you erase it. In 48 hours.
That's something more careful than forgiveness. A man who has been burned before choosing, slowly, deliberately, to try again. Because she said I was ignorant and irresponsible and small-minded and didn't try to make it prettier than that. He responds to the honesty with honesty. Barely. Just enough. 2 scenes, 2 bridges, one emotional, one literal. Same moment. The real person surfacing just enough to say, I'm still here, don't push it. There's a version of you that runs automatically in certain rooms. You didn't decide to build it, you just noticed one day that it was already there. The competent one, the funny one, the one that has a line for everything and never lets anyone close enough to see the machinery. It works. People respond to it. Some even admire it. And the longer it works, the harder it becomes to tell which parts are real and which parts just kept going because nobody ever asked them to stop. And then someone doesn't accept it. Not as a challenge, not aggressively. They just keep looking at you like they already know something you haven't said yet. They ask the question you didn't prepare for. They receive the real answer instead of the rehearsed one and don't leave. They sit by the campfire and wait. And the performance, for maybe the first time, has nowhere to go. That moment when someone refuses to be managed is either the most threatening thing that's happened to you in years or the most relieving, sometimes both at the same time. Sometimes you make a joke and they don't laugh, and you're standing there in the silence realizing the joke was a door and they just declined to walk through it. Flynn does this one way, Nick does it another, and most people watching both films have done it in a third, quieter, less cinematic, more Tuesday afternoon. And The Optimist has her own wound. Both films hide it, and most people miss it. Judy says it herself quietly, in a line that's easy to walk past.
I do try too hard, because deep down I'm afraid that I am what everyone thinks I am.
She doesn't keep going because she's fearless. She keeps going because stopping would confirm her worst belief about herself.
Bunny cop! That is the most stupidest thing I ever heard.
It may seem impossible to small minds. I'm looking at you, Gideon Gray.
The optimism isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move anyway. Rapunzel isn't naive. She was raised by someone who spent 18 years convincing her the world was dangerous and she wasn't equipped for it. She left anyway. The openness isn't ignorance. It's the most deliberately chosen thing in either film. They don't save the charmers. They save themselves first by refusing to become what their circumstances were building them toward. And that refusal is what creates enough space for the charmer to finally exhale. Nobody warns you about this part. Rapunzel's openness didn't protect her from the Stabbington brothers. She didn't even see them coming. They didn't need her trust. They just needed her to believe one lie about Eugene, and it worked. Judy trusted Bellwether, the small, overlooked sheep, the one who seemed like the safest person in the building, who turned out to be running the whole thing. The person who sees through your performance is not automatically safe. Anyone can make you feel seen. The hard part is that the people who want something from you are often better at it than the people who don't. They've practiced. They know exactly where to look and exactly what to say when they find it. Eugene cut Rapunzel's hair, gave up the only thing he'd ever wanted, not to prove something, because she mattered more than the thing he'd spent years chasing. That's a different thing entirely. Nick kept her carrot pen. Through everything, the press conference, the falling out, however long passed between. He didn't have to hold on to it. He did, anyway. That's what you watch for. Not how someone makes you feel in the moment they see you, what they do after. What they do when the real version of you is in the room and it costs them something to stay. Some people handle it carefully, some people don't. You usually can't tell immediately, so you watch, quietly, and you notice. Not everyone who sees you is worth being seen by, but some are. And the ones who are, they were never that interested in the performance anyway. They were just waiting for you to get tired of it. I had a friend once, called him my brother, the kind of person I relaxed around completely because they've been around long enough that you stopped checking. Lent him money, introduced him to people I cared about. Found out later he'd been moving sideways on me the whole time. jealous, talking, going after my girlfriend. And what stayed with me wasn't what he did, it was how normal he looked doing it. Flynn Rider dies at the end of Tangled. Not permanently, but he dies. Eugene cuts Rapunzel's hair knowing it will end Gothel, and knowing he may not survive it. When he wakes up, he says,
Did I ever tell you I've got a thing for brunettes?
the joke is back, but it's different now. The performance and the person have finally become the same thing. Nick gets his badge, stands in a room full of people deciding what to do with a fox, and this time they give him what he always wanted. One person refused to accept the performance until there was nothing left to perform. He smiles, the same smile from the Scout initiation. It was always that smile, just waiting for someone who wouldn't accept anything else. You have a version of it too, the one from before the construction started, before the performance became automatic, before you stopped feeling the difference. The right person doesn't ask you to tear it down, they just keep looking at you like they already know it's there. And eventually, slowly, against your better judgment, you start to believe them. And life keeps doing this, keeps sending people who look straight through the version of you that you've worked hard to present. Some of them safe, some of them not. And the only way to know the difference is time and what they do with what they see. Subscribe so the next time one of them finds you, you're ready.